Well, hello guys, so this is my Samsung VCR, the one that you recently saw in my latest video, when I compared this Samsung with my Sanyo VCR. And well, at one point in this video, there was a little issue with the right spindle here, like the brake on this spindle, and well, there was a point in the video, the tape like spilled in this area of the VCR when I did fast forward, then stop. So at the point when the VCR activated the brake, when I pressed stop, it spilled a little bit of tape here. So this was probably due to the brake, and the brake is this piece here. I detached it from the VCR. There was this spring here. This spring is attaching this part and this part, which was placed here. And well, this piece here, like it's starting to go bad. So if I just rub my finger a little bit on it, there will be some black powder. So this means that the foam that is on this piece is going bad. So now if I try to place back the part where it was, just like this. So right now it's in eject position, but when it goes on the brake mode, so when you press fast forward and then stop, it will just go in that direction. Now it can, because it's not in the brake position, but you see this white plastic piece here. So here, this plastic part, it kind of stops this part to go in that direction. So if we grind a little bit of the plastic, like at this place, it will be able maybe to go further in that direction, and so that it can push here on the reel with more force. So I think we should try that now, because I think it's that part that will that is the brake for this this spindle. So I don't know if we can do that, or maybe if we could replace this foam, that will be the thing to do, but I can't do that because I don't have one. Well, we've had a little problem that happened when I was operating the VCR with the cassette carriage removed. Well, this is the piece that operates the cassette carriage, and well, it fell off. Well, actually, it got removed, and well, there was it was not anymore in contact with this cam gear here, because this cam gear drives this piece, which is normally placed there, and that drives the cassette carriage. And well, this went off contact with the cam gear, and so the motor, like, for some reason, it continued to turn when the cassette carriage was ejected. And well, due to that, the mechanism kind of went haywire, so I have to place it back correctly. This is the area where the problem occurred. Like, since the cassette carriage is off, well, this piece is loose, because the cassette carriage is what holds it. And well, it kind of went off, and well, so the gear continued turning without this like blocking it, because this piece is supposed to block it. But if this piece was absent, well, the motor continued turning in a position that it will not be able to be if this black piece was not there. So this is what happened, and now I think it should be working again. I think it should be good now. So it is in the ejected position. Like, the function is written there. It's very hard to see on camera, but it's written E/J. Again, that table is moving. So this is not a complicated mechanism to work on. Pretty simple mechanism. So on the bottom side, well, this cam gear drives the sliding plate, and well, if the sliding plate is all the way in the unloaded position, well, you can remove this cam gear, and well, you place it back, and there is no synchronization besides that. So you can just place it back, the cam gear, while the sliding plate is in unloaded position, and then after you place this back. So pretty simple. It's not really complicated compared to some other older VCRs from the 80s. So maybe if we put a tiny layer of hot glue on this, so hot glue to replace the foam, which is supposed to like create friction with this to make the brake, maybe it's gonna work. So it has to be really really tiny, the layer of hot glue that we put there. So well, actually, after like watching what was happening, well, I found out that there might be something broken in that area here, the motor, because now I've reassembled the cassette carriage and I put it back. The mechanism operated one time, then it blocked. So the mechanism is not now blocked in that position, and so I don't know if you'll be able to see. So here in that area, just in the center of the screen, there are two separate pieces. There is a worm gear and a part that is attached on the motor shaft, and that part drives the worm gear. And well, that part, as you can see, I don't know if you can see well because there is not a lot of light, but they are not in contact anymore. They are like very hard to see, but they are separated. So there you can see more clear. Here, the two parts, you can see this worm gear part should be in the part that is mounted on the motor shaft, and now they are like separated, so it cannot turn correctly now. It's forcing. I don't know why it is made like this in two parts, but now the parts are like not in the right position. So maybe there is a broken part in this. So this worm gear is like too much advanced in that position, in that direction. So that's what's happening. And here there is a piece that moves. Here there is another piece, and this holds the worm gear part. And apparently that part is too much advanced. You can see I just moved it. So it advanced in that position, and so the two pieces were separated. I don't know why it's happening now. Maybe when the mechanism went to the cassette carriage eject position, when in the fully ejected position, maybe when it continued to turn, for some reason the motor continued to turn. Maybe the motor forced and it broke that part that is mounted on the motor shaft. So pretty complicated pretty hard to explain, but maybe that the motor forcing broke apart in this. I don't really know. And well, the problem is in that part here, because right now I'm able to turn this manually. So now it just ejected quickly because like this, because of the weight of the cassette carriage and the tape. So that's why it just slammed out. But I'm able to turn this manually, so the problem is here. So I place my iPad somewhere so that you can see it when I'm doing it. And right now it doesn't go in because it's upside down probably, but I just inserted the tape. And now I just loaded the tape, and now if I eject, so as you can see, oh, now I got it in. But as you can see, the mechanism is working, so the problem is in the part of the motor. I'm able to load and unload the tape with no problem. So if that broken plastic piece on the loading motor that I've showed you is the culpable, is what causes the problem, well, I'm probably not going to be able to fix it because, well, it's a broken part. So well, what I'm guessing happened is that since the motor forced, this plastic piece tracked, and then it went like this. So you see it went back, so that the worm gear part was not placed correctly on the motor. So that's probably what happened. So if I just try to or maybe if I put some sort of washer here behind the motor and the plastic piece, I should try that. Well, now I have some very good news. The VCR is now fully fixed. It's now fully functional again. So that problem with the motor that happened, the plastic piece on the motor, I don't know if it was if it is made like this with the crack, or if it cracked when or if the plastic cracked when the motor forced. But now I just moved it on the motor shaft, like to its correct position, and now that fixed the issue. So that's pretty darn cool. So what happened is probably when the the VCR was operating with the cassette carriage out, well, when it went to the eject position, the motor continued turning, and well, that cassette carriage was not there to prevent the mechanism from turning. But then once it was past the eject position, the motor, for some reason, it continued turning. It did not stop at the eject position. So that cam gear here, it continued turning, but it did not affect the loading mechanism, the sliding plate. It did not turn it because the gear was past that position. So it was in that position that it should not be in the VCR's normal operation. And probably when it did that and forced, that piece, the motor forced so much that the piece moved on the motor shaft. And well, probably that plastic piece is not, there is no way it can move during the VCR's normal operation. So now I moved it, and the VCR is now fully functional. And for that problem, so for that brake problem that made me remove that cassette carriage. So is that part here. I just put a tiny drop of a tiny bit of hot glue on it to replace that foam, that kind of rubber that was there, that was disintegrating. And well, now it fully fixed the problem. The brake's working again. So I'm going to show it now. I'll press rewind. So now I can sell the VCR, and I'm going to clean the heads when I'm at it. So now rewind. So you see, this is when the problem occurred when I pressed stop. Now I'm going to press stop. It completely stopped. Did you see that? What happened in my previous video is that wheel continued turning when I pressed stop, and now it completely stopped. The brake works. Pretty cool. Fast forward. So for fast forward, there is a brake too on the. There is a brake also on the left side, but the back tension arm, it does that. It puts tension on the tape spindle, and that stops it. That acts as a brake too. As you can see, no problem whatsoever. So I was scared that there was something blocking the mechanism that I couldn't fix, but it was just a simple thing on the motor. So it took me quite a lot of time to figure out what the trouble was, but I finally fixed it. So that's pretty cool. So now I'm going to sell the VCR, maybe not now, because I still maybe want to keep it at the moment and watch the mechanism while I'm at it. But I might sell the VCR soon. And there's also some other VCRs that I would like to sell, like this Samsung here. It has a pretty basic mechanism, nothing very special. Oh, that was the cat. It just ran. I don't know why. So I was seeing this Samsung VCR. It has a pretty basic mechanism, nothing special compared to other VCRs. So why not freeing space? Why not getting rid of that basic VCR to make room for another? And also there is that RCA VCR. Well, that one has the mechanism working, but the picture doesn't. And when it has well, I don't really want to keep that VCR because well, the picture does not work, and the mechanism is not so special. Again, it has nothing special compared to others, so it's not. I will keep it if the picture was working, but since it is not, well, I'm going to bring it to the recycling center. And there are other VCRs that I'm keeping even if the picture does not work, like this MTC. This one, the picture does not work, but I'm keeping it because it has a mechanism that is pretty rare to find here, and well, the mechanism is working. And also, yeah, that Sony combo, I might not keep it either. I'm going to try to sell it. Well, now I just cleaned the heads on this VCR, and the drum was not really dirty, but I also cleaned the tape guides, and well, those were a little dirty, but not that bad. And well, now I'm going to put a tape in the VCR and play it to let you see that the picture works well, perfectly on this VCR. And well, when you take apart a VCR like that, like I just did, that's when you realize like how much engineering there is in the VCR mechanism to make it functional. So this VCR displays the tracking like this. This is not something I'm very fond of. So this is a recording of Mario, and the picture is working perfectly. So pretty darn cool that I was able to fix that break with hot glue. There's also hot glue here. So hot glue, I think it can fix quite a lot of stuff.